Hi all, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Burrow Podcast. My name is Luca, and I'm joined here alongside Zane as well as Ruben. Two of our other members, CJ and Cody, were unable to be with us today. On today's episode, we'll be discussing topics from our two trial matches, as well as our disastrous injury crisis. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first of all, we'll start off with the two trial matches, Gosford as well as Mudgee. So we can start with yourself, Ruben. What did you make of those two games?
First one was in Gosford against Manly, and look, we weren't playing a good team, so I'm not too surprised of the loss there. And look, I thought we gave it a good effort. We came back. We only lost by, I believe, 10 points or so. It wasn't that bad of a loss. And then you go to Mudgee game, which I went to personally and was in the Burrows. It was going to it. I knew what I was expecting. I was going to it knowing we're playing a team that is playing all their first graders, and we've got a lot of injuries. So you could have seen where it was going from a very far away glance, but really looking at it, I thought we did alright. To only lose by 20 points with the team we had compared to the Dragons, I thought we did real well.
A bit of a fight,
again, a 20-point loss is bad. Yeah. Come enter that second half, we came out with a vengeance, and Jamie Humphries, I thought, did real well for us in that game.
I heard that.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, for me, with the trials, I completely missed the first game against Manly, which, we didn't really name topside. We named some of the young guys to go out there and have a run, which I think they did a good job at, from what I heard. But Charity Shield, on the other hand, I was working, so I completely missed the entire first half. But then I got off my shift and saw a few messages. I'm like, okay, we must be down. These sort of messages, and I checked the score. It's like 34-4. I'm like, okay, have I missed much here? But I got home, and then it was 34-26. I'm like, geez, what's happening here? Then on the bit, but unfortunately, I think Dragons just had too much in the end. I think on the edges is where they really dominated, just going down that edge, and that's something that was a bit of a problem for us last season, which I think needs a bit of working on. It's the edge defence, but Dragons just carved up through there, I think.
Yeah, certainly. Agree with both of what you guys said. Is there any players that stood out for both of you guys? We can start off with yourself, Ruben, if you'd like.
It's alright. Yeah, what are you talking here? Both trial games? Or
Both trial
just
games. You can start off with Gosford if there's any players that stood out for you, any young guns or anything like that.
Look, on that day, probably the guy that stood out the most was Jogray. In all honesty, he played extraordinary, and he done what he does. He gets tries, sets up tries. Yeah, he done what he done. And come into the second trial game, and coming into the season, I was a massive fan of the player, I'm about to say, and I'm very happy he did so well in the second trial game, and that's Jamie Humphries. I'm a massive Jamie Humphries fan, and I think he should be starting hooker, but I thought he played real well at halfback, and I feel like Dodd has got someone gunning for his position now. I feel like Dodd should be nervous.
I agree with you there. From what I heard, Lewis Dodd didn't have his best game, which I know he's still adjusting to the Australian level of rugby league. Obviously he's come from the Super League where he was a gun over there, but he's got a bit of learning to do, and unfortunately I don't think he played his best footy in the Charity Shield, and he definitely will get an opportunity some point this season, but I feel like for round one he's unfortunately not going to have that 7 jersey, and I think Humphries will probably have it locked up.
Yeah. Well, I believe he's suspended for round one, isn't he?
Oh yeah, actually, you're right there, so
yeah.
I think Humphries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we'll actually speak about. Sorry.
Yeah, but I was going to say, even if the rumours are true about the whether Cody Walker's going to be playing round one or not, that probably leaves a spot for Jaden Sullivan to stop that number 6 jersey the early parts of the season as well.
Yeah, certainly. Give him a good shot. That's what I was going to talk about next.
He didn't have a terrible game.
Who do you guys think will get the 7 and the 9 jersey in round one? I know Jamie Humphries is definitely a big shout for the 7, but what do you think about number 9?
I'd probably say Mamazoulis, but he got injured during the Charity Shield, didn't he?
Did he?
Wasn't a bad one though, was it?
No, he's all...
I saw a
Nah,
video
Peter
of him going
Mumsels
off, but
is
maybe it
good.
wasn't as bad as I initially thought it was. But yeah, I'd say he probably gets the 9 jersey, and I'd say Humphries should get the 7 jersey. That's my opinion, at least, for round 1. We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah. I reckon with Dodd being out, it's pretty clear cut who's getting the 7. It's going to be Jamie Humphries. For number 9, it'll be Mamazelis. But if it was up to me, he'd be on the bench and I'd be having Saliva Havili play number 9.
Yeah.
I don't
believe
in the Peter Mamazelis.
I think Saliva Havili is a bench player. I think that's where he's best at, when he just comes on late in a half and just runs down, just barges down the middle. I think that's what Havili's best at. I know he can play 9, but I just wouldn't start him in that spot. I feel like he's a better utility 9.
I 100% agree. I reckon... Yeah. I reckon he is definitely a bench player, Havili. I just don't see the vision in Mamazelis. In every game we've played him, sure, he makes a few tackles and stuff, but I've never seen him actually do some great break down the line. And to bring back to the trial game when we played the Dragons in the Charity Shield, there was a play where I'm pretty sure it was Joe Gray who gave him the ball, and he tried to chip it over the top of Gutherson and got whacked. It was a very bad idea. From the very minute he tried kicking it, I knew it was not going to end well. He should have taken the tackle, played the ball quickly, and let's spread the ball wide to the other side of the field and get a try. But he tried to be a hero, kicked it, and then it went out.
Well, that's what trials are for, I think. So hopefully Mamazelis learns from that. But I think with the injuries we've got, I think we'll definitely see Mamazelis in the side in some shape or form.
Yeah, no, I probably agree with you, Zane, there. Don't get me wrong, Havili, certainly a great player, but yeah, I think Mamazelis will win that spot in the 9 position. So
yeah, I'm not saying I don't. Oh yeah, you go, Luca.
no,
You go.
all good.
You can
Sure.
go.
I'm not saying I don't think Mamazelis is going to get it, because I reckon he will. But I'm saying if it was up to me, I'd be having him on the bench as kind of like what you were saying for Havili, Zane, as that guy to come on and barge through. I feel like if he comes on
where you're coming from there.
Runs his ragged way for a good 30 minutes there. Later. Yeah, 100%. And he'll be running around against...
Yeah, it's a similar view to how we used Damien Cook when we had Cameron McInnes. Like we'd have Cameron McInnes play the vast majority of the game and bring Cook on late just to, when everyone's tired, just to run through everyone.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
It'll be interesting to see on Tuesday when they name the sides what they do there.
Yeah, for sure. And on the topic of round 1, are any of you guys heading up to Brisbane for that game?
Indeed.
What about you,
Line up Friday morning.
Yeah, I'm heading up Friday morning as well, same as Zane. I'm flying up at 8:30, so I've got a bit of a drive to get to the airport alone. It's about a 45-50 minute drive to get to the nearest airport where I live, so a drive in the morning, then flying all the way up to Brizzy, and then going to accommodation and waiting for the game to kick off.
Yeah. First ever time the Suncorp as well, which I've always heard great things about, so I'm very excited to see what it's like up there. It's been on my bucket list to head to Suncorp and finally getting the opportunity next Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
Which at the time of filming, probably be getting ready for the game, so pretty much 7 days now until the season begins for South Sydney.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Can't wait. So now we're going to talk about our disastrous injury crisis. So we'll start off. Who do you guys think will replace Murray at lock? As we know, he's out for the whole season. So who do you think replaces him?
I reckon round 20, don't they, for Murray? Maybe longer. Like Achilles, don't really know. Probably until closer to that date, we'll probably find out. But I feel like what I would do, I'd have Kalamatangi play lock, and then I'd put Tallis Duncan on the edge. That's how I'll do it, because I feel like Tallis Duncan, this will be his opportunity to shine now. Like, we've kind of used him the last few years as just this bench player who comes on the edge, plays about 30 minutes a game, but I think with Murray gone for the vast majority of the season, this will be Tallis Duncan's year to shine. Having that edge spot, he wants to make it his own, I think.
What about yourself, Ruben? What do you think for the 13 position?
Yeah, I agree with Zane. Like, really, I feel like last year Keon, in my opinion, actually claimed the lock spot. I feel like Cameron should be, when he comes back, should be playing edge, because Keon is just that big and that mobile. He's a perfect lock, in my opinion. And when he was playing last year around Origin time, I thought he was going to make Origin Game 3. I really thought they were going to call him up and say, look, he's averaging... he was unbelievable. I couldn't believe he didn't get called up to Origin. Considering he got called up the year before, I'm pretty sure, and then the year actually he's going crazy, he doesn't get called up. It was crazy. But, yeah, I feel like Tallis should move to that right edge spot with probably you and Aitken on the left side, and that can be the little two edges in the middle.
He's also out for the early parts of the season.
Yeah, when he comes back. When he comes back.
I'm assuming we'll probably have Jacob Host out there for those early parts of the season. Or yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to wait until Tuesday because there's a lot of injuries out. Some players we don't know who's playing and who's not playing. So we'll find out on Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Recently announced our captain for 2025.
Well, we're going to talk about the number 9 as well. Oh, not number 9, the number 6.
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll speak about this first if you'd like. Recently announced Cody Walker, our captain for 2025, replacing Murray. Look, so far, just assuming he's injured for round 1, who do you guys think gets the captaincy if he's out?
In my opinion, it'll be either Jack Wyden or Kalama Matangi. I'd probably lean more to Jack Wyden, only because he's the more experienced player out of the two, but one of those two would get the job done.
What about yourself, Ruben? Who do you believe could get the captaincy if he's out?
Personally, if it was up to me, I would make Jack Wyden captain. He's one of the players in the lineup right now with all the experience in the world, and he's coming off leading Canberra, and he's a great player, and I feel like he could be an ideal captain. However, I think the club, after watching the charity games and seeing who the captain was in that, especially in the second one with players such as Jack Wyden and whatnot else in it, I have a feeling it'll be Isaiah Tass, and I don't agree with it, but that's just what I think will happen. I think it'll be Isaiah due to him being the captain for both.
I can't imagine that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, who knows what could happen. But he was the captain for both trial matches, so who knows.
Yeah.
And say...
Yeah, maybe he's got some leadership qualities that we don't see.
Possibly. We'll soon have to find out. And as you were saying before, Zane, let's say again, Cody Walker's out for round 1. Who do you guys believe will get the number 6? We've got Jaden Sullivan now.
It would be
a big shout.
Yeah. I'd think it'd be Sullivan. I can't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, I've heard he wasn't too bad in the charity shield. I mean, most players went pretty ordinary, but I heard Sullivan was okay. So, for round 1, I think he's definitely got that locked up if Cody Walker's not playing.
What about yourself, Ruben? Who do you believe will get the 6?
Yeah. Look, if Cody's not playing, I reckon it'll be Sullivan. Definitely. There's no reason to move Jack Wyden back to the 6 and call up a centre or change it. We might as well run it with Sullivan and let him. I could see it, but like Sullivan's better than any backup centre we've got at the moment. Yeah. While I can't see it being anyone else. I feel like he's the next best player in line to kind of fill that 5'8" role besides Wyden, but due to us not having backup centres at the moment, it's kind of that thing where it's like, okay, it'll probably be Wyden on the centre and having Sullivan on the inside and playing 5'8", but that can be a great thing. That could be a brilliant thing for Sullivan to set up some tries for Jackie Wyden. Who knows? Maybe they'll have some brilliant link to round 1.
Yeah, I think Sullivan's in for a big year. Just from people I've spoken to, like personally, I've heard he's really keen, like he really is ready to have a big year this year. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, because I think Sullivan's been given a couple of opportunities and never really played to his potential. But I think at South, under Wayne Bennett, who always seems to get the best out of not just players, but halves in particular. Like you look back at all the great Wayne Bennett sides, it's always the halves that are the best players in those teams. So this will be Bud Sullivan's one of his final chances, I think, to really take the NRL by storm And that's why I think he'll get the 6 jersey in round 1.
Yeah, for sure. I certainly agree with you on that one. Give him a good chance, I reckon. Now, our expectations for this season. Where do you guys see us ending up at the end of the season on the ladder? I'm going to start with yourself, Zane, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to have... Should I do exactly... I had him 5th a couple of weeks ago, but after the injuries, I'm going to say 8th. Like, we're just going to scrape in there, unfortunately. And I really want to put them higher, but I feel like it's going to be a slow start to the season. But as the year goes on, I feel like... As the year goes on, I think, and we get players back, I think the better we're going to get. 2022, I reckon it's going to pan out like that. Very inconsistent start to the season, and we came home strong. And I think in round 27, we beat the Roosters and claim our spot in the top 8.
Yeah,
that's my whole... I would love to put them higher, though. If I'm being realistic, I think South... I have to see them play first, but they could literally finish anywhere from 4th if everything goes right, and as low as 12th if everything just goes completely wrong again. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. What about yourself, Ruben? Where do you think they'll end up at the end of the year?
Look, being a realist as I am, because I'm not much of a guy who's going to believe in something I can't even see happening. I'm going to have to put them sitting at 7th, maybe 8th. I can't see us going any higher than that. That's the highest I've got them going. The lowest could be dead last. The way...
Yeah.
Look, as much as we've got a lot of injuries at the moment, when players come back and everything, but it's still a thing of like, well, to say Latrell doesn't get injured again, or what's to say that Keon doesn't get injured and now we're down 2 second roll, 2 second rolls of the lock, anything could happen, big time, and we're just waiting for it to happen, especially with older players such as Cody Walker and Jack White, and if one of them goes down, we're without 2 experienced players in the lineup with already a pretty young-looking new halves pairing and hooker. It'll be very interesting, but I can see us making 7th as our highest. Maybe 6 if we're lucky. If everything goes our way and we reach that. But yeah.
I wouldn't say dead last. Like I said, I think the lowest would be like 12th. I just cannot see a scenario where they go any worse than what they did last season. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of young players that surprise a lot of people this season. Like, that just no one expects to. Like, that's just what Wayne Bennett does. Like, he did it up at the Dolphins. Like, everyone expected them to finish last, and they didn't do too bad. I mean, they never played finals, but they did a lot better than people expected them to. But I just feel like they'll do enough to get enough wins to not finish that low. I feel like they're going to win a lot more games than what they did last year.
Yeah, no,
and that's worst case scenario.
Yeah, I actually agree with Ruben on that one. I don't know. I feel like we could scrape the 8, but I don't know. It's not looking great so far, but who knows what'll happen.
It's just they look fit. They look fit. Unlike last year, they look really good and ready to go. I just feel like there's going to be a lot more wins than what we saw last year. We can actually sing the song out a core instead of walking out all sad like the vast majority of the games last year.
I hope that's the case.
Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Hopefully. Alright, so the other week, the Burrow released a new logo. I'm assuming you all have seen it. What did you think of it when it was first released? We start with yourself, Zane, if you like.
You get sick with the car. I think the scarf detail is very sick. Like, it just looks awesome. I think the Rabbitoh looks fierce. And the scarf, obviously, something the Burrow are long known with having the scarves. I think we've got some going on sale this year as well, don't we?
We certainly do.
And they look good as well.
Yeah. What about yourself, Ruben? What did you think of the logo when it was first released?
Yeah, look, I couldn't disagree with anything on it. I thought it was a good logo, and I think we can run with this for a good couple of years now.
You made it right, Luca.
Something
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Someone designed it for us, did they?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's sick.
Yeah. You going to show it to the camera?
Well, they've done a very good job on it.
They certainly have.
Especially the detail with the rabbit.
Yeah, for sure. And it really represents us as a group, especially the hole in the scarves. So, we'll move on to round 2. So, as a lot of you guys probably know, we have a bus planned to head down to Wollongong for all our Sydney supporters. Numbers for that are currently fairly low at the moment, which is pretty disappointing, as it's a really good idea. As you know, we'd love to bring this sort of stuff back, as it's what used to happen back in the day. So look, again, if you're interested and you haven't contacted us yet, please contact us on any of our social medias, or I'll provide an email in the description. Whatever's way to contact us is, as easy as possible for you. I'll go over some of the things about it again. So pick-up will be from the juniors on game day, then it'll head to the stadium, and then from there, when the game's finished, you'll head back to the juniors. So, like I said, you can contact us on any of our social medias if you're interested, and it sounds like something you want to be part of, or you can contact us from the email in our description of this video. And I'll just add that we also have some Southern Cross Burrow scarves that are available for $20. I mentioned this on our last podcast as well. Visit the description of this video for more information, and there'll also be a photo of it, so you can view it and decide if that's something that you'd like to purchase. So that just about wraps us up for this episode of the Burrow Podcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in today, and cannot wait for the season to start. Go the Rabbits.
Yeah, next time we record, we'll know the result of round 1 and see how we go with a lot of players there. But of course, having the footy back, it's been, when was it? Start of September since we've seen the Rabbitohs play, so it's been a long time. It's been a long time, over 5 months now, so ready to get back.